We are live. We are live.
Hey!
Happy
Friday! Happy Friday!
Happy Friday,
Happy Friday.
How you doing?
Happy Friday.
And how you
Happy
doing?
Friday. Happy Friday.
Hey.
We're gonna let some folks come on in.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh my God,
Hey.
I need this with y'all today. These people tried to break my nerve, honey.
They tried you this
Oh
week?
Lord.
Okay, I'm trying to start this your watch party. Watch party.
Yes,
Watch party. Watch party. Hey. Watch party. Watch party. Hey. They figure out how to do it again. You know how Facebook be acting weird.
I know. Happy Friday, y'all. How y'all doing anyway? Anyhow.
Honey,
How
I
y'all
am good
feeling?
today. I'm good.
I'm feeling good. Me too.
I'm feeling good. I had a little chiropractic adjustment earlier. Shout out Dr. Brown.
Nothing like getting back cracked.
Honey,
Right.
like getting the back. Honey, it was good for my soul.
And you know what I
my
meant.
body. Right, honey.
But there we go.
Right.
Hey.
But
Honey.
that's awesome, girl.
How you doing, Raj?
Yeah,
You
how
know,
doing, girl?
now that I'm talking to y'all, I'm doing great. But my corporate job today tried to work my entire Black Negro nerve.
Oh no.
So I'm happy for
Fuck
this
the Black
baby.
Negro nerve.
Baby,
We tried to
the
take you
only one
out.
I got left. You already know. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm really happy to be with y'all. I'm glad. I
Yes.
made it through this week. Amen, Jesus.
Amen. Thank you, Lord.
Amen, Jesus. I know it's always hard going back too after a vacation. Because you
Girl,
was on
yeah.
vacation and you had to go back and
And it was
You
so
know.
great. And I was on vacation, but then I had like work stuff to do for Rush Alert Music and my little new business that I'm launching, which we'll talk about later.
Yay!
I know, right? But so even though I was off from work, I had a really great productive week. So I don't feel like I've had a vacation. I feel like I still need a vacation.
You still
But
need,
it's
I
all
know.
good. It's all good. No complaints. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm healthy. Amen. We made it through another week.
And
Hallelujah.
So I'm grateful.
Word.
how about you, sis? How about you, Carrie?
Yes, girl.
I'm good.
How you
I'm
feeling?
blessed and highly favored in the
Garden
Lord.
is blossoming, I see.
I'm in highly favored.
What'd you say, Mom?
I said your garden is blossoming, I see.
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all see my little baby squash. You know what I'm saying? It's like a foot long. Rocks her to that cast iron pan, and which was delicious.
Yes.
No, I'm grateful. I'm like, I feel like it's been a really enriching experience to be like, thank you, Earth, for this, and like having that relationship with the Earth in a different way again. I'm always just trying to remember and remind myself of that, and it's been beautiful to do that, because that's what we're here for, to
That's right.
replenish each other. Yeah, so yeah.
Right.
So I'm great. I'm blessed. I'm feeling good.
Less than highly favored.
Yeah.
Come on and sing it. Come on, girl.
No.
I forgot who that is, but
Clark Sisters, honey. Clark
Karen Clark Clear, right?
Yes,
Karen Clark
yes.
Clear.
Boom.
No,
Yes, exactly.
Clark Sisters. He brought me through hard trials.
Oh,
yes.
all of
honey.
Fam, I want to do a gospel concert out here in Denver.
Yeah,
I'm just
why
saying,
not?
just because I think that would be dope. Like gospel
Yeah.
is the foundation of everything. Like, my
It
God,
really is.
get down.
Yeah.
So anyway,
And given our new
down.
little thing that we just did, I'm definitely feeling singing some more gospel. That would be so awesome.
Honey, yes.
Ain't gotta be no altar calls and nothing extra. We ain't gotta do no laying on the hands, y'all. We doing come together.
Okay.
Hey, no, none of that.
None of that.
Not here.
I'm a pray for y'all. I'm a pray for y'all. Lord have mercy.
Word. Well.
Before we move on, I'm gonna shout both of y'all out. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm gonna shout Miss Rajulari out because she was on ABC News last week singing Lift Every Voice, and she killed it. Okay, so y'all need to head over to YouTube and type in what was it? It was like the 4th of July special.
Yes, well, I think they might have locked it down on me, sis. I don't think
Oh no!
I know I'm so mad. I should have saved the video. I should have, Lord Jesus. But they said they're gonna send it to me. So, but it was really beautiful.
It was beautiful. She sang "Lift Every Voice." with the string quartet from the Colorado Symphony, and it was outside, and it was just beautiful. So we have to shout you out for that.
Come through, sis. When you get it, please share it, sis. Because I was waiting to watch it on that thing, and
I know
I didn't. Yeah, it didn't happen at the time that. Yeah, so but I want to see it. You got to share it.
You know, and that's the thing about doing stuff. And I know, Nick, you have this from doing TV and stuff like that. Like some things you do and it's live and it has a specific time. And then some things you record and then they put out. So they had said it's going to be on this link at this time. And so I'm glad I didn't post it everywhere at that time. I only told like you, Nick, my mama. But it was off. The streaming system was off.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, but I definitely want to see it. And
it was a beautiful moment.
Honey, it was gorgeous.
Hey.
And then we got to shout out Miss Carrie Joy for your show that you produced over the weekend called The Talk.
Yes.
Yes.
She was like, You are.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank y'all. Yeah, it was beautiful. It came together beautifully, and a lot of the feedback has been that people have been healing from that conversation, and I'm grateful for that because that was the goal, right? Like there's a lot of wounds that we have and a lot of baggage we carry. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, and I'm sure that you can go and see a replay on your page.
Yes. I actually plan on sharing it again this weekend, but I can find the link and just throw it in here real quick as well.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I could. Yes, please, because it's called The Talk: Wisdom for Black Survival and Liberation, and it is a dope show, y'all. Definitely,
thank you, y'all. I appreciate that so
much.
So what y'all drinking?
Yeah, what you drinking?
I got some Bacardi and some Coke.
Come on, rum and Coke.
Some rum and Coke. Mm-hmm.
Well, I said I wasn't gonna drink today. So I promise you. I woke up this morning and I said, if them girls try to get me to drink on the sip tonight, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to have a spritzer. I'm going to do seltzer water and something else.
Girl, bye.
They don't work my nerves. This corporation child, I'm about to have this no Prosecco. Okay?
The whole damn thing.
The whole damn thing.
The whole lot.
Okay.
Right.
So,
yeah, what y'all drink?
Prosecco.
What you sipping on,
a little brown liquor. A little grand.
You already know you're a brown liquor kind of girl. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not. This is Aaron's drink, but this is the Grand Marnier. So
when I'm not drinking Prosecco, honey, I can get with some brown liquor. So
I hear that.
I remember the first drink Raj made for me when she moved to New York. We was up in her little brownstone in Brooklyn. And she was like, I'm going to make my favorite cocktail called a Manhattan. I was like, oh, girl, I never had that. Make me one. Indeed. She brought that thing over. It was Robitussin.
Yeah, it was not no Robitussin.
Ma'am, I thought I was drinking ice purple. Okay, ice purple.
You know what? Don't be putting lies on me now.
I took both sips and was done. I was like, I ain't gonna be able to finish this.
I used to live in Brooklyn on Hancock between Marcus Garvey, which was right down the street from Peaches. Well, it was a walk from Brooklyn. And you could go to Peaches and you could actually get a perfect Manhattan, honey. On a Friday night. So I used to sit at the bar and hang out with the single people. And I finally asked the bartender, how do I make that drink? So my drink when I'm being bad is a perfect Manhattan. But today
Steffi said that drink had legs, didn't it, Mo? It showed legs, arms, a tongue.
4 days.
And it was so enough good.
It was good. It was banging.
Yes, come through. Awesome. Somebody's saying that they're drinking some tequila. What did you say, Kenny? Tequila and Corona. Hey. Come through. I hope you have a good weekend there, Tammy.
Cocktail on, y'all.
Right.
Yes.
What's your favorite drink, Carrie?
My favorite? I'm not really a drinker. I just drink like whatever. Whatever's really there.
You like fruity stuff.
You like fruity drinks, right?
I do like fruity drinks. Yeah. But actually, I really like rum and Coke is cool. I'm really cool with that. Cool. I like whiskey gingers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it just calming all around for me. Yeah.
Someone said I made a cherry smash with whiskey last night. That sounds
amazing.
Thomas J. Harrison.
That sounded amazing.
That sounds really good. Yes. So y'all.
Yes.
So y'all ready for this special guest?
We ready, girl. We ready.
Oh my gosh, I'm so extremely excited to bring the homie Kristen Adele Calhoun to the stage of the Sip Fam. Please welcome her. Let me go ahead and read her bio real quick. So, Kristen says, the role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible. These words from Tony Kade Bambara guide Kristen Adele Calhoun's work as a playwright and performer. She is the founding program director of Art Change US and co-producer of Interfest, which I also co-produced with her in Denver. It was so dope, fam. Hopefully we do it again. It was an intersectional arts and idea festival that began at the Harlem School of the Arts. She is an assistant editor of contemporary plays by women of color, and her play Canefield Drive about Ferguson, the murder of Mike Brown, and the revolutionary power of healing in the face of oppression. And that had a rolling world premiere in 2019 at the St. Louis Black Rep and the National Black Theater Festival. Other plays include A Pocket Full of Dandelions, at the Denver Center Theater Company, Quilombo 5280 Artist Co-op, With These Hands, Black American West Museum, and Ain't Gonna Let Nobody, presented by the NAACP. Off-Broadway and regional acting credits include Jackie and Me at the Denver Center, Skeleton Crew, A Raisin in the Sun, Myrna in Transit, Kleinborn Park, and Joe Turner's Come and Gone. Television and film acting credits include House of Cards. When I saw her, I was like, is that Kristen? Yes. House of Cards, Elementary, The Sinner, Orange is the New Black, Blue Bloods, The Good Wife, and Everything I Whisper to Dorothy. She's a native of Dallas, Texas, graduate of University of North Texas, and the Mason Gross School of Arts at Rutgers University. So she's currently living and writing in Accra. Yes. And we want to, Accra, Ghana, y'all, and we want to welcome to the SIP stage our girl, Kristen Adele. Give it up.
Hey, family.
Hey.
Oh my gosh,
it's so good to see you.
We good. We're excited to have you here, sis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. From Ghana.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to just, start off by asking you how is it out there in Ghana right now?
Yeah.
What's going on out there? Tell us about the magical place.
It's peaceful. It's peaceful.
I love it.
I am so grateful to be in a space that is full of peace. I feel content. It's hard to witness so much suffering around the globe, especially with my family back home, especially with in particular with Black folks back in the US and Black folks all over, to be honest. But here in West Africa, in Ghana, in my little corner of the world, I have peace, y'all, in a way that I've never experienced anywhere else. I can breathe, my cells. I'm happy on a cellular level. So I just need all y'all to get over here.
Honey,
girl, you don't even know.
The door is open. I might
honey.
Okay, that's smart though to keep them closed. I get it. That's dope, sis. But what you sipping on? Because we about to get into some shenanigans.
Yes, that's right. You gotta get the drink on, girl.
I'm being real country, and I got some white wine with some ice cubes in it. But
that works.
That's that Texas
baby. Stop you on block with some ice cubes.
Girl.
Dope. Yeah. So Mo, you had the question of the day, and then I was gonna get into some of the other interview questions after. But I wanted to.
Right.
Let's go.
Well, and the BAN too, right? Are we going to the BAN too? Okay.
Let's start with the super whack. And then we'll trickle down, okay?
Right. Okay. Hopefully it'll get better as we go along.
The BAN of the week goes to Raj. Would you like to tell the folks what a BAN is?
No.
Always do this.
If you know, you know.
And
if you don't know, you don't need to know.
And if you don't know,
That's right.
No, ma'am.
But the audacity of Kanye West to run for president.
Oh Lord.
The audacity, the gall,
you know, I can't.
And then to say, and then to dig the hole deeper, and then to proceed to say that he doesn't care if he splits the votes.
Right.
And that if Trump wins again.
Right.
Sir, who do you belong to? Who do you belong to? Them Kardashians.
Not the Trashians. I don't even know.
Man.
We got new words for the people.
Honey, Kardashian, okay?
I'm so annoyed.
What are y'all's thoughts about that? Like, what are y'all's thoughts? Because I saw some black people like caping for it, like, yo, this is dope. Yay, that's incredible.
I mean, honestly, it's just another trash option. I'm sorry. That's all. It's only because, like, the thing about it is that if he was serious, if he was actually serious, like if Kanye West was serious, and I'm talking about like college dropout Kanye West was serious about running for the presidency of the United States, I'm behind you, bro. 100%. Right. I got you. Canvas for you. I'll do whatever I got to do. But the reality is it's not serious, and that's what I'm mad about. I'm like, ain't no time for games right now. We don't have time for this shit.
We don't.
You know, really and so, and one of the reasons he's not serious is because he can't win. In 6 of the states in the country, they can't even vote for him unless they write him in. And even though that's only 6 out of 50 states, that's vital.
That's
you know
vital.
What I'm saying?
Right.
It's like it's not really logical at this point, my dude. Like, so I just know you're playing with us, and I'm not here for it. Yeah, that's how I feel.
What you think, Kristen?
Yes.
I think the best thing we can do for Kanye is just ignore him. It's like when the child is having that tantrum, and sometimes you just gotta let it go off. Yeah. And we can't give Kanye no attention because it don't make no sense. Like Carrie said, he can't win. He just messing with us. If anything, it's like he's intentionally trying to divide the vote so that Trump wins again, because we know they've already been aligned.
Right. How about that?
Yeah,
let's just not. Just don't even look over there. Nobody look at him.
Right. Just ignore him.
Right.
Yeah, that's real, sis.
I mean, honestly, everything that you guys said, Kanye is not married to a black woman, because any black woman would have like muzzled him, done something, gotten him all the way together. Mama, aunties, I need somebody to come in and step in at this point, because he is without hope in my book. I just, and at the same time, you're going to tell me that his business got bailout money from the latest loan payment.
That's right. The Yeezys.
Yeah, Yeezys got one. I think it was between 1 and 3 million or something like that from the government.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And at the same time, you're releasing this album, you're doing this for publicity. And you know what? If it was any other day, if this was just our usual clown circus, then fine, jump in, throw your hat in the ring, do what you got to do.
Right.
But you really are being divisive. And that's the problem that I have with you. I wish we could ignore him, Kristen. I really do. Because I think at that point, then at least he would be a non-factor. I'm sure there's people out there right now talking about they're going to run for president. Nobody gives him the time of day.
Right.
But because he has the platform that he has, he is doing damage. Now, do I think between him and Biden, both of them are just as incoherent? Absolutely. But there's nothing we can do about that at this point.
Not right.
So I just, I'm more angry with him than anything. And I feel like I wish somebody would just turn his mic all the way off for good.
Mute him.
Yeah.
Kanye,
how about that? Sorry.
Pretty much.
So I wonder, like, who are his cousins? Like, who are his people? Right. To be like,
family, come on. Yeah, like this is not it, baby. This is not it. I just, whatever kind of I do pray. I want him to heal. I really do. Like, this is not how we do it, sir.
Right.
So this is traumatizing for everybody right now. Chill out.
And also, it's like you have a platform. If you really wanted to say something with your simple behind, you could actually do a platform that's completely anti-Trump. Put your weight behind Biden or whoever it is. Use your money for good. Make an album about how the world needs to change or something.
Right.
But this mess that you're doing here is just a waste of time.
It's trash.
It's a waste of time. Yeah. So
desperate.
You need to be canceled.
I'm like, he's not canceled yet.
Right.
We have canceled him. He's been the BAN on here a few times.
Girl, right.
Anyway, so the next thing that I would like to bring up briefly will be brief because we got to talk to Kristen about all her amazingness.
Right.
But I do want to address this Jada Pinkett, August Alsina, I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name, situation. She did release a Red Table Talk where she's sitting down and talking to Will earlier. And basically, when this happened 4 years ago, she and Will were separated.
Okay.
They had basically said, this isn't going to work. It's done. He was having a lot of health issues, mental health issues. She was kind of trying to help him.
Who was, Will or August?
Jada was helping August out of his situation. And everybody knew him. They became friends. And then they started, getting it in or whatever and being in a relationship. Okay. And then it kind of ended. And then her and Will just realized that they need to do a lot more work to keep their relationship together. So I feel like the amount of people dragging Jada on the internet, that's the part that is pissing me off. When a man does this shit, nobody says a thing. A man can cheat. A man, T.I. done cheated on Tiny.
Listen.
6 ways from Sunday and Monday.
And you already know how I feel about Bianca and Jada.
And we already, And it's like, what a woman, especially in our culture, was she holding me down and she know I don't love these other hoes out here. Like, no. But when a woman takes the separation from her husband and needs a moment to regroup and is getting some young thing out here, why is the world mad? She did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. She was separated from her husband, and she said, "Let me." Now she admitted to needing a lot of healing.
Real quick, no.
She did admit to being in a really bad place where she felt like she didn't know who she was and her self-love and all these things, and she just was in a really horrible place. And so, she's had to work on that. But how many of us have been in a situation with somebody that was a little, and in this situation, they were separated. I don't even know if they were living under the same roof. So people need to give Jada, they need to stop because their relationship works for them. And I heard them say recently that they are life partners and that there's nothing that the two of them can't do that would push them away. And at one point in the conversation, she says to Will, now don't you, nigga, you
right. It's like we ain't talk about your stuff. Just
I'm not gonna put you on blast.
So
exactly. To think that Will Smith has never stepped out on Jada is asinine. So therefore, just because something 4 years later is coming back up, everybody's mad at Jada and feeling some type of way when that's the dynamic of their relationship. So I want to know what you ladies felt about it. I do suggest y'all go watch the Red Table Talk with her and Will. I think it was great.
I heard some of it because Candy was watching it. Yeah, I heard a little bit of it. And I mean, like you said, it works for them. And like, I don't know. I don't even know who's August. Is he an artist of some sort?
He's a singer. Yeah.
Okay. I apologize. That wasn't intentional.
Like, I didn't know who he was.
I was like, I don't know who you are. But no. I'm like, hey, like you said, whatever works for them. I'm just like, I do agree with you about that double standard though. And it's extremely frustrating. Because it's just like, first of all, how about y'all mind your business and stop judging me just because what I do in my life is what I do in my life.
Right.
But second of all, there is just so much more. There's just so much more pressures, like this different standard, obviously that women have to. You have to walk a different line. You know what I'm saying? And it's really frustrating. And I feel for her. Like I feel for her because of it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, damn, Jada. Like, yeah. So listen, I don't know who would want to be separated from Jada. I mean, I don't know her personally.
I mean,
as a human being,
I love me some Jada Pinkett.
But I'm just like, if I was, like, come on, Will.
I love her.
I for me personally, my problem is if a woman had done this, if a woman had came out and said I was sleeping with Will, the entire world would be on her. attacking her, all this kind of stuff, she would look complete trash. Will and Jada would look like they were together. There would be no issue. Even if Will had done it, it would still, there would still be some reverence. But because it's Jada and because it was her that had this experience, I feel like people are being harder on her. Yeah. And also, I feel like if Will ain't saying nothing, all y'all need to shut up. Because obviously,
that part. They don't care.
Like, okay. He's like, I know.
Will was probably like, y'all haven't found out my dirt. So I'm gonna stand here with Jada. And
he's like, clearly y'all have nothing else to do with your life.
Right. Listen. And whatever Jada want to do, I ain't gonna have no problem with neither. So
not at all. Do you, boo? Do you, boo?
And I just appreciate that there's a Black couple in Hollywood that is working on their relationship. Yeah. Because everybody gets a divorce. Everybody separates. Everybody cheats. Everybody, and it seems like that in Hollywood. And I just love that they have kind of, reaffirmed their love for each other, but also like maybe took the label of marriage out and turned it into life partner, whatever it is that works for them. But they are in this strong for 25 years.
I'm telling you, because I still don't know what kind of relationship the comedian Monique is in. All that stuff that they said about the other, I never got fully what they meant. Does that mean that y'all sleep with other people or not? Like, don't tell me whatever you do, I'm still gonna love you. No, I need the full honesty.
The full honesty. And they said that.
Me and Mr. Landell over here, I need rules and parameters, honey.
All the parameters.
I need it in writing, okay?
Oh my gosh. Very true.
Yeah. What do you think, Kristen?
I feel the same as what y'all said. People need to get out their business. Leave the people alone.
Leave them
you
alone.
Ain't in the bed with them.
Exactly.
You're in the bed with them. If you're not, leave the fuck alone.
Right.
Yeah. And also, I love that people are redefining what relationships mean to them, especially Black relationships.
Yes.
Y'all want to be in a poly situation? Do that as long as you do it healthy with communication
and boundaries and all that. Exactly.
You want to be monogamous? That's up to you too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Never float your boat, baby.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah,
okay.
Cheers to that, y'all. Cheers.
Yes,
honey. We have to do a little kiki before we talk to our girl, Kristen.
Yes. You know. So, Kristen, we just got some questions for you, sis. Just want to break down to the people who you are and what you do. And so, I have some specific questions, but I didn't know if there was like anything that you wanted to say about your bio real quick. Just introduce the people to you.
I can't believe you read the whole thing, Carrie.
Girl,
that
just special.
That's right. It needs to be said.
Absolutely.
I mean, no, nothing else I really want to add other than the fact that I'm here in Ghana writing a series of plays about my maternal ancestors. And that project feels like super close to my heart, really special. The fact that I'm like here in Ghana on this extended period of time to have more time to focus on that project is really special. So I always just want to uplift my ancestors since I'm working with them right now, writing about them and like they, ain't none of us without them. So
right.
Just conversation too.
Beautiful. That's super real. That's super real. And I got to read a little snippet of some things she's working on, y'all, and it's super magic. So I'm so excited for you and everything that experience that Ghana is allowing for you to have and to tap into like different parts of yourself. So yes, the first question I have is let's talk about Kristen as an actress, right? All of these different shows that you were in and a lot of different TV shows specifically. I'm sorry. So I'm thinking like Broadway shows and TV shows and all of that. So what are some of your best experiences and your best memories from your acting work?
Yeah. I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all. The best experiences are when I work with Black people on Black material.
Amen.
Let's just pause there and take a second.
Love it.
Y'all know.
That's so real.
It's true.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
We just need the funding. That's it. Everything else is beautiful.
We just need the money.
That's it. Just write the check, fam. Yeah.
Cut the check and leave us alone.
What has been your favorite? What has been your favorite thing to do with a Black production?
Yeah, so my favorite production was I did A Raisin in the Sun, in Knoxville, Tennessee, with Woody King directing it. Woody King is this legendary Black theater producer, y'all. He's in his 80s. He's been in the game forever, ever, ever. Amen.
Yeah.
He directed this production. Lynette McKee played Mama from Sparkle. Y'all know her? Yeah, like throwback. And I made some of my best friends from that production. Like, we are still close. And we just had the best time, like on stage and off stage. And the text is amazing. Like, it doesn't get better than Right. So that has to be one of the greatest experiences I've had on stage. And then I also, not to pat myself on the back, but I love acting in my own work. Like, I love writing things for myself. Yeah. Because oftentimes I find myself very dissatisfied for what is written for Black women. So who was that? Toni Morrison, I think, that told us, if what you want to read doesn't exist, then you have to write it.
You have to create it. Right. Yep. That's right.
So I think Canfield Drive, the play we did about Ferguson, that play was hard. There was nothing fun about that, but that show was interview based. So my co-writer and I spent 4.5 years traveling from New York to St. Louis, all over the US, interviewing people about the impact of Mike Brown's death and the Ferguson uprising on their lives. And so to embody those voices, I played 10 different characters in that show, 10 different Black women. I played an Indigenous woman. I played Mike Brown's uncle. And to be able to bring those voices forth was really powerful. And it's something that I will cherish, the opportunity to be able to do that work too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually goes right into my next question, sis, because I wanted to talk to you more about your playwriting, and what are some of your own personal favorite works. And I love the fact that you said that you love, writing characters for yourself and playing in your acting in your own plays, because I even noticed myself, I personally enjoy speaking my own words and performing my own words and my own it sounds a little different when I'm when I do some Janelle Monáe with some comment or whatever, you have to get into a different lane sometimes. And I just really appreciated that. So I wanted to know your personal works. What are some of your favorites? Where did they come from? And what do you want to tell us about those?
Ooh, Carrie, I love that question.
I want you to pat yourself on your back, though. That's right.
That's right.
Talk about it.
Nobody ever asked me that. It's got to be this anthology I'm working on. It's my favorite, and it's not even really birthed yet. But the way this thing is set up is that they're short plays, and there's one per woman in my maternal line. There's 10 total. So there's 7 starting with me and then looking back. So there's one for me, one for my mama, my grandmother, all the way back 7 generations to my ancestor that was born in 1819. Her name is Elvira Layden. And then I'm imagining 3 generations forward. So there's a short play for my daughters who haven't been born yet.
That's dope, sis.
My great-granddaughters. And imagining what liberation will look like for them. And so I'm doing this of biomythography, which means I take a biographical fact that I know about my ancestors or my mom who's still living, and then I elevate it to the level of myth for the purpose of healing. So for instance, I asked my mom, what's a story that you would reimagine if you could from your life? And she was like, well, I would reimagine, because her mother passed when she was very young. She was like, I would imagine that I could have healed my mom's heart. So I was like, okay, wow. You get to experience that. You get to witness what that would have looked like if you had had the power as a little girl to heal your mother's heart. And even my mom reading it, because that one is pretty much done. And when mom was here in Ghana, she got to read that one. Even the experience of her just reading it was so healing and satisfying for her. So
that is a dope question.
Yeah,
about reimagining a situation or an experience in your life. That is a beautiful thing to think about. Yeah, absolutely.
That is. And I have a question kind of to piggyback off of that. How did this idea come to you, and just your creative process in general? What's your writing style? When you feel, that that pulse in your spirit to write something, like what's the first thing you do in that process?
Ooh, I love that question too, Mo. So this one came to me in particular because in 2016, in the middle of working on the Ferguson play, actually, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And yes, and discovered like around that same time, I also had fibroids, endometriosis, like all these different issues with my womb. And we know like a lot of Black women in particular have fibroids, endometriosis, different womb issues. But the cancer was like, I was in my early 30s. The doctors were shocked. Everybody's like, what's going on? And what we discovered was there was a lot of young people, a lot of young women in particular, who came out of Ferguson from witnessing that moment, who walked away with cancer, y'all.
I heard about this.
Wait. Say more about that.
Yes. I mean, there were journalists, there were activists, people who were walking away with these disorders of the womb. So I started interviewing healers and being like, what does this mean? Like, what is going on? And there's this sister, she's anonymous in the play, but her interview actually appears in Canfield Drive. She talks about how like our bodies know when an environment is not safe and our bodies will shut down. You know, that our bodies know before our minds know. She talked about all the people who've had miscarriages that like out of Ferguson, people who just cannot bring forth life. And I was like, okay, time out.
Vibration. That's right. That's space. Yeah.
I
was like, wait a minute. So if we don't die in the street, like, like racism, there's so many different ways that it's like affecting us and killing us. And we already know about like the Black maternal health issue and crisis and all of that. But I was like, I gotta hit a timeout. Like, what did it do to heal my womb? So I started working with a healer in Denver, actually, Utina Montoya, on healing.
Shout out.
Yes, I love healing. And this was after chemo and everything. So like they caught my cancer early. I'm fine, all of that. But I was still like, clearly something else is going on, like on a spiritual level. So let's do some spiritual healing.
Yeah.
So I'm working with her, and like in our first session, she was like, oh, there's stuff you carrying in your body that's not even yours. You carrying your grandmother's stuff.
Wow.
And she was like, but the good news is, if trauma can be passed down, healing can be passed backwards and forwards too.
Say that.
So I got real curious about what it means to heal myself and to heal my mama and to heal her mama and her mama and her mama, and to heal all the kids that's coming afterwards. And so also after doing the Ferguson play, I was like, I want to tell another story about Black death, Black pain. We know. Like we know what we're going through. I don't want to embody that. I don't need stories on stage. For me personally, I know some people do, but I don't. I want to see stories of healing. I want to see stories of us winning. I want to see stories of Black women being loved and Black women in abundance and being cared for. And just like lavish on.
Can you preach?
Like, when do we see that?
Yes.
When do we see that? So I was like, I'm real. And I want to put my ancestors in those circumstances, whether they actually got to live through that or not. Like, I'm going to rewrite the story and put them in these circumstances where they are just flourishing. So that's how I came to this particular process. And because I'm writing this one about them, it's required a lot of research and also a lot of stillness, a lot of quiet to listen to them and be like, okay, what story do y'all want told? And to get real still and real quiet and just sit like an old lady. Some days I just sit around here and listen until they tell me what they want me to do.
You know,
and that's been it. And I'm grateful.
I cannot imagine what our ancestors would say about this time. And I wonder how because I think, you know, Nika and I talk about this a lot, about like trying to still your mind and trying to really kind of center. And I've been thinking a lot about finding your alignment right now. So I would love to know from you, what is it that you get into to listen to the ancestors? Do you light a candle? Do you know what I mean? Is there a space in your house that you go to? Where do you go to be grounded?
Yeah. Where do you go? I do all of that. So when I'm like really in writing mode, I light a candle to open my writing ceremony. And then when I'm done, I blow it out. And sometimes the most powerful thing I can do, like if I'm stuck in a writing moment, I will go take a nap. Like I'll ask a question and be like, in a dream, like whisper it in my ear right before I fall asleep, because I think that's like a magical portal moment. And like y'all know I love the nap minute.
Yeah,
you know, we had Trisha. Trisha's so dope. She is such a good. She's like one of my.
We gotta get her. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, please. If she's not napping.
Right. I can't even blame this if I can't.
But so I'll go lay down and I'll, also go float in the pool and let the water hold me. The water will give me answers about like what I need to do next. And I just sit still, like really like how my grandmother used to do on the front porch. Just sit down somewhere and do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we learned nothing else about this time, we've learned the power of standing still and sitting still. So I feel like I'm grateful for that during this, even in everything that has happened. It's reminded me how I need to do that. So,
100%. And so I was wondering also, you talked about what you do for rest. What do you do for fun? Like, what do you do for, and that could be fun too. Don't get me wrong, because I understand that. I'm just wondering, like, what are you doing out in Ghana to just release and have a good time and live?
Well, it's hard because we're in this moment of pandemic.
I forgot. That question.
Do you get a chance to go out? How do you find your joy right now outside of your house?
So every now and then I slide out the house. Like I got a group of friends that I'll go kick it with. And we'll go out. There's a few places here that are open. So we'll dance. But it's, it's weird trying to like be social and socially distant at the same time.
It
is. I don't know. And that whole thing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love being in the house by myself. I love I love it,
girl. Listen. I can sit here for days.
Because that's a life.
It's fun when you gotta work, but it's beautiful when you can stay home for a good long.
Yeah. The business of chills. Word. So you mentioned earlier, Kristen, talking about this anthology that you're currently working on and speaking to like the daughters, like the daughters of the future, right? And I'm curious to know if you don't mind sharing, what are some things that you are, sharing with them or encouraging them to do? Like, is there a message that you think we should be really sharing with our future generations, especially our young women, our young femmes?
I love that, Carrie.
That's such a good question, Carrie. I mean, my whole thing is be free. Be free. You're worthy of freedom. You're worthy of joy. You're worthy of pleasure. And don't accept nothing less. I think, I tell people all the time when it's time for us to leave the U.S. and people be like, no, I want to stay and fight. And I'm like, well, but you don't have to. Like, that's the thing I need.
I talked about this too.
Like, there actually is another way. We do not have to suffer, and suffering is not redemptive, in my personal belief. Like, I was raised to believe that you're going to suffer, you're going to get this heavenly reward, and I don't buy that anymore. I think, for me, that's not true. I intend to live a life that is full of pleasure and joy and community and service, like in the now. And I want my baby to know that inherently. I want my daughters to know that, like from the time that they are born to the time that they are old women, like live a life full of joy. You don't have to, suffering will come. It's inevitable, but that doesn't have to be the path that we choose. So.
And why are we? You just brought, like, why are we signing up for this? Why is this okay? Why does this Black experience in the U.S. have to be such struggle? And I love that. Is that what made you go to Ghana? Did you just say I'm done, I'm out?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I came was February of last year, and it was actually right after we closed Canfield the first time. And I was like, I knew going into that process, I needed something to catch me on the other side of being in Ferguson, in that story. And so I planned that trip, and I came out here by myself, and I enjoyed it so much that I was like, how fast can I get back there? So I came back in August, and I came back in December, and I've been here since December on this trip.
Wow.
But I think, Raj, to your question, it's like, it's all we know sometimes. Yeah. It's like, if I've suffered and my mama suffered and, all the people suffered, exactly, but we figured out a way to Black folks are amazing, especially in the U.S., I think. It's like, all that we've been through, and we still came out singing jazz and gave gospel earlier, and we just so radiant and beautiful, we managed to make it look good and still enjoy ourselves. To still be joyful.
We created beautiful things.
Yes.
So sometimes you just don't know. But it's actually another level to this. I can actually be free on a whole different level until you experience it. Yeah. So that's what I want my babies to know, Carrie, is you can be all the way free in this life.
In this life right now. I love that. Amen to that.
And what I said about suffering is not redemptive, that's actually another Trisha Hersey quote. I can't take credit for that.
Oh, okay. You said it on here today. So.
Don't get me in trouble.
That's real theology.
Oh, and hi, Charlie, who just signed on. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Tania. Thank y'all so much for joining.
Yes, and Tania's loving what you gotta say. For real. So, and I thank you for that. I was, I just want to give a shout out to my baby brother, who is also Raj's lovely husband, Ryan Landell. We were doing an interview earlier, and we were talking about exactly that. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of asking me some questions about what do I hope for the globe and for the future and all of that. I'm just that we all know that we're worthy. You know what I'm saying? And that, and growing up, and especially growing up in the church, and always being taught that my heaven was so far away. You know what I'm saying? And that I would never see it in this life. And I was saying I don't believe that anymore. I believe that I can build my heaven right here on earth. And
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So 100, yes.
I mentioned that. Talk about that on your album too. Because I remember messaging you when I heard that on the album.
And then I was going to say, that's the whole premise behind my album.
Yes.
Living this freedom of not caring. And but caring about me enough to be free.
Enough to be free.
Because I identify with Carrie in the same way, where we kind of grew up in these very strict households that perfection was the goal, but just being grounded in who you were that was not even a thought. Knowing who you are, that was never even a conversation, because you're not really you, because you're not even worthy of being
exactly
you.
Right.
So when something good happens to you, I won't mention names, but a couple years ago, Carrie and Raj and I were in a performance situation, and some folks held a prayer before this performance situation, and somebody said during the prayer, Lord, we are not worthy to be here. And I had to be
yes,
I kind of looked up at Carrie, and I'm people are still, and that is detrimental to the baby. That is what breaks my heart more than anything are the young Black boys and girls who have to sit in and hear that type of rhetoric about themselves.
But this idea of humbling yourself, this idea that you have to be prostrate, this idea that, Black folks are made powerful by suffering, and that we have to deal, and that the harder it is, the better we are. Instead of saying, how about I check out of this? How about I'm done? I'm going to go find myself, my peace and my joy somewhere else. And I don't have to sign up for your BS no more.
Right. And I think
I love that.
And it's sad that it comes from Black folks in church, but it's they don't even know how to get free.
Yeah, I mean, because they're in such a mental bondage. Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, sis.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, but they're in such a mental bondage, and they and kind of like we were talking about earlier, you perpetuate what's familiar. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important that we learn to identify joy. I was literally just saying that the word, thinking of the word happiness, right? And what that even means to me was literally I never thought about what it meant for me to be happy. like last year. Like I didn't know what that looked like. Because I was literally, and it's funny because, and I'm trying not to blow up the interview because there's a lot of things I said earlier that I'm saying right now. But there's no manual in life, right? But I grew up thinking that there was, and it was called the Bible. And like legit. And I literally did everything that I could. Like Carrie Joy Landell did everything that I possibly could to abide by that manual. Like that's real. And I was devoted, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was crazy. Like looking back at the cultish shit that I did, and I'm like, what the hell was I, Carrie? Like, but ultimately, it was never about happiness. It was about, making sure you're staying on the straight and narrow and you are following this book right here. And so happiness was not a thought. And even like, it took me a minute. It took me a few years after leaving the church to actually consider what happiness meant to me. And like, it's insane. I never thought about it until like I was asked by my partner about happiness to me. And I was just like, I don't even know what that means.
But even aside from the church, I feel like all Black folks or all women of color were raised to not consider themselves or their happiness. Even Black women, Black men too, or men of color too.
It's just a different way to oppress. It's just a different way to use the tools of oppression. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, man. So I'm glad we all walking in our freedom.
I know that's right.
So I want to know what made you like. Were you always this way? Like that you knew where your freedom and your power was, or did you come to this by some evolution?
Yes.
Absolutely not. Like, I mean, when y'all talk about being raised in a strict household, same, a very religious household, same, Christian household, all of that. I'm trying to think what happened. I don't know. It feels like a series of incremental steps in the life. Like I think a huge part of it, I give thanks, and this is no shade to Texas because I'm very grateful to be from Texas. I'm very proud of that. I'm happy I left. I'm happy I didn't just stay there, but I actually got to see other things and meet other people. And when I started to like experience people who weren't Christians but were kind and loving and inviting the teachings of Christ and the people who said they followed the teachings of Christ, I was like, well, wait a minute. That started this mantle for thinking for me. And I was like, well, okay, so maybe some of the things I was taught aren't all the way real. And then what else isn't all the way real? And started to begin to really develop my own thoughts and figure out what resonated for me. So I think it's just been like a series of little baby steps into freedom.
Yes. And it sounds like an improvement on relationship of self. Once you start to, define whatever, like you said, Carrie, too, like, what does it mean for me? What does happiness mean for me?
Right.
That's awesome.
I can identify with that.
And I'll add this, the first person who told me anything along those lines was Jeffrey Nicholson. He ran Shadow Theater Company, which was the Black theater in Denver. And this was 2008. I was going through a divorce. I was 24 years old, had just moved to Denver. And Jeffrey was the first person who told me, you are enough. Nobody had ever told me that my entire life. The message had always been quite the opposite, quite frankly.
Exactly.
We're not enough.
Exactly.
And for someone to be like, you are enough. That blew my world wide open. And I was like, wow, you're right. And I heard it and just knew that is right. And then to be like, someone to be like, you are worthy. I was like, you know what, you're right.
Yes.
So then to discover like this question, Carrie, I'm like, well, what does it mean to be happy? What do I want? Like, I know what I don't want. What do I want?
Yeah.
And I tapped into that, and then like tapped into my own manifesting power. Oh, come on.
That's it.
It was like,
and if every Black woman could do that, how powerful would this world be? Because we can change some stuff.
Absolutely.
They're not ready.
Yeah,
but we have to. It's time. This is time. This is time.
And I believe that so much, so wholeheartedly. Go ahead, Mom.
I was going to let you finish, but I had a question for her, but I'll let you finish first.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I believe wholeheartedly there is a shift happening right now. Like, and I think it's because, we created it. Like our ancestors have created it, right? It's not like just randomly happening. I absolutely believe that we are energy, and we, like you said, we are power. And once we start to unleash that, things start to shift. And I believe we are in that shift. And I'm just hoping that we continue to remember our power throughout it, because we already know the way that many of these oppressive systems works and oppressive systems work. And to be real, I feel like the fact that, real quick, like the fact that people have kind of removed themselves a little bit more from corporate America in a way, right? Like not everybody, because it's that's not completely possible, but like at least removing themselves from the work environment, right? And being closer to each other and to community and to just their family or to themselves. I think that it has given us a little bit of time to unleash that power, but also like an opportunity to recognize what it looks like to shift our energy into something constructive that we want to build, that we desire to see manifest, and stop thinking that we have to work for someone else, right? Like I understand the structures that force us to, but there are some people that literally don't know how to see a world without employers.
Right.
Like people are like, wait, so where are the jobs going?
Where do I go? What do I
do? Like it's okay.
You create something. How about that?
Exactly. And I just love seeing that natural shifts of energy and people like just unleashing their power because they are seeing what it looks like to pour into themselves. And like, so I'm just hoping we stay the course, y'all. Stay the course. So.
That's right.
I have a funny feeling that, and this just occurred as you were saying it, Carrie. Because Mother Nature is an entity, whether you want to believe it or not. This earth, this energy that we are vibrating on, is a power. And what if it is, or whatever you want to call it, but what if it is that we're not going to be able to go back to normalcy until whatever needs to be aligned spiritually gets aligned? Yeah. Because as much as we keep trying to force things to happen, people are talking about when are the schools opening? When are, we need to get back to work. We need to do all these things. We're not going to be able to do any of that stuff until the energy that needs to be shifted shifts.
Absolutely.
And for me, I feel like I'm fine with that. I will sit here until I can become a better person. All the things that I want to deal with and improve and vibrate on, the habits that I know I want to fix, the things that I'm trying to analyze within myself. If it takes me the rest of this year to work that out, I will do that if it means I'm a better person at the end of it. And I wish that we as a people in a community thought that way. You can't rush to be open again. We need to continue to sit here in the silence and heal.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm curious to know on the COVID front, Kristen.
Yeah.
I'm just, if you don't mind, because I feel like there's like a slightly different experience just because the cases are so high and there's just so much going on out here. And so is COVID even like, besides the stuff being closed down, is COVID even like a huge factor in everyone's everyday lives right now?
For sure. Yeah, it's here. Okay. It's been here since mid-March, since like March 12th. I think we have about 20,000 cases countrywide in a country of 29 million people. So we've managed to keep it relatively low, but it's very much here. And we actually went through like a whole lockdown period where everything was shut down for I think 2 or 3 weeks. And of course the borders are closed, which impacts, air travel. Ain't no coming and going. You hear. The U.S. Embassy did run a couple of flights back to the U.S., but in order to get on those, they would not tell you how much it cost, and they would not tell you where they were taking you in the U.S. So they were like, we would just get
That's extremely suspicious.
No.
I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna stay right here.
Right.
And wow, is that really how they're treating U.S. citizens outside of the country? Wow.
Yeah, that is the U.S.
I shouldn't be surprised, but
yeah. You just had to sign something that said you would pay them back no matter the cost. I was like, I'm good.
No,
like no,
I'm all the way good. But what I love about that is that like for real. But people have common sense here. So like it's mandatory that you wear your mask. So for the most part, people are wearing their masks, period. And you have to wash your hands. So today I went to the grocery store and there's a hand washing station. You wash your hands before you come in. The brother takes your temperature. After that, he puts some hand sanitizer in your hand. Some of the grocery stores, they give you gloves. Now, mind y'all, listen, Ghana is a country where only 32% of homes have running water. Wow. But they figured out how to put hand washing stations in front of the bank, in front of the pharmacy, everywhere. Like they have. But that's also a part of like African culture is you wash your hands before you eat. Like somebody's gonna put some water over your hand with some soap. We wash our hands. That's some sense. We've always been a cleanly people. We know that, right? But so yeah, I mean the common sense piece of it warms my soul. You know, it's no utopia over here. Like things aren't perfect, but the fact that people are operating from a communal mindset too, like I'm not just caring for me, but I'm making sure I do what I'm supposed to do to take care of you too.
Right.
I feel good about that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: since you've been experiencing Ghana, especially during this time, are you in a hurry to come back to America, or do you feel like this will be a home for a while, or are you trying to come back or not? Like, what you trying to do? Because honey, I will be there. Okay.
Like I gotta okay, let me tell you this. I got a storage unit in Colorado. At some point I gotta come and like get my little stuff in order. My mom and them over there. At some point I gotta come get my mom and them. Right. I'm a friend. You know, I'm gonna come holler at my friends, but I'm good. I actually can't picture.
I'll come back to how we can get to Ghana. That's all I want to know. Ain't nothing happening here.
When the borders open, I will let you know. But like I'll come back for work opportunities. I would love to come back and collaborate with people when that makes sense. We can be in rehearsal rooms and on stages again. Yeah. But I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. I love it. Dope. I sense a peacefulness over your spirit. Like you in like really beautiful, happy place, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate that.
Sis. Me too. And so we always want to make sure we ask, how can we support you? How can we get some of these Black dollars to you? How can we get this Black love to you? Like how can we do that?
You know, folks can just follow me on Instagram. Follow me on the gram, and you can see what I'm up to. It's at Kristen Adele Calhoun. My whole name on the whole
are you Kristen? Are you gonna be releasing? Because the projects that you talked about seem really interesting. Is it a way people can go to your YouTube channel and see some clips or something like that? Are you going to be releasing some virtual stuff?
Well, perhaps the anthology that I'm working on, you know, it takes years to write a good piece of theater. So we at the beginning part of that. I'm in like the first year and a half, I would say, of like manifesting this project. So that's why I say just follow me on the gram and you can see what I'm up to. It will come into fruition where people can come and witness it at some point, but who knows when.
Understood.
Yeah, but I appreciate
and the work is mermaining. I feel like, you know, a lot of the things that, because everybody's so used to the quick, fast, and easy, now you have to wait for a work to be developed and presented to you. You got to wait for stuff to come in the mail. You can't get something overnight anymore. You got to be like our ancestors and our mamas and everybody else had to wait, but it was always beautiful. So
that's right.
Dope. So follow her on the gram, fam. Make sure that you are, you know, staying connected to the beautiful work that this sister is doing. And I just wanted to give you a shout out for that Dear White American Theater letter. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that at all, because you know I noticed that you know there was some power players that signed on to that too. That I was so proud. I was like, look at Kristen, like I've been doing her thing.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know, I know how history is going to remember you, and I'm just honored to be on this earth with you right here, right now. So that's dope. So I don't know if you wanted to just tell people about that real quick, because that was a powerful statement.
Well, yes, a collective of theater artists of color, Black, Indigenous, and folks of color, who said, time is up, enough is enough for the racism that we face specifically in the white American theater. Yeah. So the first part of the statement was a call out, basically. We see you. Like, these are the things that you've been doing, and we're going to name them collectively. Yeah. And then just the other day, we've released our demands, which in full, if you go to WeSeeYouWAT.com, you can read the 33-page or 31-page list of demands of the white American theater. So, they're really powerful. Incredible. They're asking for funding reform, for reform of boards, for reform of who's on stage, who's backstage, and just how staffs have to be trained, like the entire experience. So I have some hope that it will change, but I also deeply believe, like we talked about before, in Black institutions, and how do we support the institutions that have always been there for us, and about how do we bolster ourselves? Because I know we can do that. That part. Whether or not white American theater is going to shift, I don't know. Yeah. But I'm happy to stand.
I think there needs to be a letter for festivals too, because I was just talking to one of my a few of my singer friends recently. I won't say the name, but a festival released their lineup for July. And I sent a message to a couple of my singers here in Denver, and I was like, okay, so besides like one person, how many Black artists are on this lineup? And again, I mean, we were just having these conversations.
Just having this conversation.
And but y'all want to send out all these Black Lives Matter emails.
Honey!
Come on, man. So there needs to be a couple of them letters. That was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call them out. Call them out. And we're powerful when we call folks out together. So
yeah.
Why not? Shoot. I mean, I'm over it. I'm like, I ain't got nothing else to lose. I don't work for none of y'all no way. Like, I do what I want. I do what I want. Come get me then.
Right. I hope this makes people think about where they spend their dollars, though. If y'all, I don't know if y'all saw recently, I posted something about Live Nation and about how they were trying to make artists pay for canceled tours and canceled concerts and things like that. And they were also trying to make the consumers pay. And it's like, come on, y'all. You can't really take money from artists for something that we didn't have nothing to do with. We can't control. We would rather be on stage right now. So now you want to charge us? Nah, think about where you put your money, y'all.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That's super real. And so one place y'all can put it is right here in our Kristen Adele. Yo, let's go ahead and put your Cash App in your
put our Cash App.
Cash App, y'all.
Look it up. Make sure we get it right.
Right? You gotta make that. It's like a bank account number, you know what I'm saying?
Support your sisters, y'all. As much as, for everything that you're looking to do, think about the folks around you that you can put some dollars in their pockets, local artists, all of that stuff, y'all.
Absolutely. We must love each other and protect each other.
So my Venmo is at Kristen_Adele_Calhoun. So just put an underscore between them names and you'll find me.
Thank you, sis.
I too.
I love that
support.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so happy to be hanging out with y'all this Friday. I'll tell you that. That just give my heart joy.
Same here.
I feel like it's a moment of sisterhood and positivity, y'all.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's kind of where this podcast has shifted, if you will, because of what's going on. I believe so wholeheartely in giving the space and platform to other Black women who are just out here rising above, even in the times that we're living in now. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. I just feel like we are touching so many people, and honey, I have so many dreams for all of us, even in the podcast, but for you as well, for your work to be received, for it to go global, for everybody to know who you are. And just understand how powerful and how dope and how amazing Black women are. And I'm just so proud of all of us for, in the midst of all this, just climbing out of the gutter and still living our dreams and doing everything. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't easy for you to get stuck in Ghana in the beginning, whatever projects you've had for the rest of the year. But was there anything that you had like that was big, that was getting ready to come up, that you lost due to, Corona, quarantine and all that?
There wasn't. Well, I mean, I wish no, there wasn't. It was actually
that's good.
Because you were in your writing process, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in my writing process, and I've been like able to find work from here in the U.S. and all my work has been remote since. So
that's amazing.
I'm grateful.
That's what's so
that's
sweet.
So
that's
amazing.
Awesome.
That's what's up.
I want to ask one question. Oh, I have one question that I really want to know the answer to this. Who are your inspirations?
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, like
okay, no, that's great.
All Black women, you know, we all have those who have come before us that have made the way for us to do what we do. And it doesn't have to be just within your discipline, just whatever, like who inspires you and gives you the good feels.
Ooh, thank you for asking me that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've talked about them a lot on this call already, but my ancestors, the women in Texas, women who made me, you know, like who came through slavery, enslavement, sharecropping, like, listen, researching their stories and the conditions in which they lived and thrived and had kids and had like 10, 11, 12 kids. Like, incredible
we
to
couldn't
me.
even imagine. Mm-hmm.
I can't, you know, so like the women in my maternal line, my paternal line too, they just some bad gun-toting women, just bad. Don't mess with them, like don't cross them. And this is what I love about Black women. It's like no matter what you give us, we have the power of alchemy. Like we gonna take a little and make a lot. We gonna make sure everybody is cared for. Mm-hmm. Like if they just gave Black women the keys to the world, we would be fine.
Man, so, you make it fabulous for everybody. They don't even know.
Inspires me, Black women everywhere. Like Black women of all ages, everywhere. Whether we talking about cisgender, transgender Black women, like Black women. I love Black women and like find deep inspiration in us everywhere I turn, like all across the globe, whether we're in Europe, the Caribbean, the US, like on here on the continent, Black women.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
That was
shout out to Fitzgerald. He's watching.
Hey. Yes.
The homie. And you guys, you want to talk a little bit about the film that you and Fitzgerald did? Everything I Whispered to Dorothy.
You did a beautiful score for it. Such an honor. We were honored to have you put some music down on it.
Of course.
It's beautiful. But that film is called, thank you, Mo. Thank you. It's called Everything I Whispered to Dorothy. And Dorothy was actually talking about ancestors. Dorothy's actually Fitzgerald's grandmother. And he dedicated that film to her because he says that she taught him the meaning of love, what it really means to love. Like, talk about the power of a Black woman, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, this film is a meditation on Black love, on what it means. Or really, when I like look back at it, it's really a meditation on Southern Black love, on like country Black love. And like what it means to like honor a Black woman. And he shoots it so beautifully. It's so beautifully edited. It's just so beautiful. Stunning. I'm biased.
Watch it. How can we, you know?
Ooh, yeah, well, you got to hit me up if you follow me on the gram. It's doing the festival circuit, so it's still private, but we will share it with folks who want to see it. But that project, I'm so grateful to have been a part of that, and so grateful for the opportunity to work with Fitzgerald, who's an incredible filmmaker. He just, anybody who needs anything shot anywhere, anytime, hire this brother because he's so good. You need a music video, whatever you need. Holla at him. So
yeah,
I love it.
And Mo, you and Aaron played such beautiful music. It was so powerful. They have such a beautiful Black couple.
Brooks Roberts.
Yes, honey.
Let me just tell you, just meeting you and Fitzgerald, for me, just being in any creative space, the way I connect with someone is how I translate that over into a new project. And so when I first saw it, honey, the ideas were just like swirling because it was just such a beautiful representation of Black love and joy and just happiness. And when you like, because you don't really see him, I won't tell everything, but because I want people to see it. But he's kind of like monologuing or talking and what's Black love, and it involves a lot of hair grease. And when you said that, I just died.
Oh my gosh, I want to see this.
It was just like, yes. Because my husband was just greasing my scalp. I took a picture of it and I will share it. You oil, I was sitting in between his legs, and it just was so beautiful, and how you looked and how you radiated, how you just showed that joy. And so when Aaron and I watched it, we were like, oh man, this is just, he's like, all kind of ideas are coming to me like right away. And it's just your spirit, Fitzgerald's spirit. It just was all a culmination. And I'm just so grateful that we got to, be a part of that. And I hope that everybody can see that, because it's gorgeous. And you guys, the way it's shot, it's just, beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
It was called Everything I Whispered to Dorothy?
Yes, that's right. Okay. Everything I Whispered to Dorothy. And it's screened here in Ghana. We screened it all over the US. It's screened in Amsterdam. So yeah. And Black people, it resonates with Black people everywhere, which I love. They laugh at the jokes. And I'm like, yes, family. Like we the same everywhere we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Y'all make sure that y'all are hitting up this Venmo down here.
Yes, yes.
Right. And if folks are watching, specifically our non-melanated folks, who have posted on social media how you can help. This is an amazing, dope Black woman, actress, activist, playwright, just badass, dope woman. Please support her. Put your money where your mouth is. Okay, your mouth is.
Okay. I love y'all. Continue to follow us.
Thank you so much for being here. Yes.
Yes. Y'all check us out on the SIP podcast. Share this everywhere. Let other people know so you can come and see our next interview. Who are we doing next week, y'all?
We got Ruth Johnson coming next week, fam. Hip hop guru. Coming to talk to the people then. So yeah, y'all come through.
Yes, and if you are a Black woman watching this and you would like to be interviewed and you're doing some really amazing things, please hit us up. You can email us at heygirl@thesipodcast.com. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Thank you. I love y'all. Y'all just made my month. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.